Hi everyone! Have you ever wondered who created those classic horror stories that keep us up at night? Let's get to know about Edgar Allan Poe as the master of dark tales and mysterious poetry. Edgar Allan Poe was born on January 19 at 1809 in Boston. Both of his parents were professional actors, but unfortunately, they died before Poe turned 3. After that, he was raised by the Allan family in Richmond, Virginia. John Allan, his foster father and a wealthy tobacco exporter, sent Poe to the best schools and later to the University of Virginia. However, Poe was forced to leave after less than a year because Allan refused to pay his gambling debts. This was where Poe's life started to get complicated. Despite his intelligence, financial struggles and gambling issues made it difficult for him to stay on track. After leaving university, Poe moved to Boston and enlisted in the army in 1827. That same year, he published his first collection of poems, Tamerlane and Other Poems, though it received little public attention. Later, Poe lived with his aunt Marian Clamp and her daughter Virginia in Baltimore in 1836. He married Virginia, who was only 13 years old. Today, that would definitely be controversial, but back then it was more common in certain circles. Their love and loyalty became an important part of Poe's life. Over the next decade, Poe edited several literary journals and wrote stories and poems that became legendary, including The Fall of the House of Windsor, The Telltale Heart, and of course, The Raven. Tragedy struck when Virginia died of tuberculosis in 1847. This loss deepened Poe's lifelong battle with depression and alcoholism. This was arguably the darkest period of his life and influenced much of his sorrowful work. In October 1849, Poe was found semi-conscious in Baltimore. He died 4 days later from what was officially called acute congestion of the brain. Though the exact causes remains a mystery, some suggest rabies or other causes. Poe is recognized as one of the pioneers of modern horror and detective fiction. His work had a profound impact both in America and Europe, with Charles Baudelaire spending nearly 40 years translating his work into French. Today, Poe is remembered as a major figure in world literature. So, that was a brief look at the life of Edgar Allan Poe, a figure shrouded in darkness, yet whose works continue to live on and influence literature worldwide. If you enjoy classic horror stories, you definitely should read his works. Okay guys, let's go next to the most famous poems by Edgar Allan Poe. There are so many questions about what are the most famous poems by Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe is one of the most famous American poets and short stories writers, known for his gothic style, dark atmosphere, and themes of death, love, and madness. Here are some of his most well-known poems. Let's check it out. Okay guys, number 1 is The River. This is the Poe's most famous poems. It tells the story of a man mourning the death of his beloved Lenore, who is visited by a mysterious river that only utters the word nevermore. Number 2 is Annabel Lee, a romantic and tragic poem about eternal love separated by death. Written shortly before Poe's death, it is often believed to reflect his feelings for his late wife, Virginia. And number 3 is A Dream Within a Dream. Explores reality versus illusion and the fleeting nature of time and hope, filled with melancholy and philosophical reflection. And the last is Lenore, another elegy about the death of a young woman named Lenore. Unlike the Raven, this poem has a more hopeful tone regarding life after death. Okay guys, so we go to analyze the most famous book or the most famous poems by Edgar Allan Poe. I will choose one. I think number 2, it's Annabel Lee. So before we dive into the analysis, here's a bit of background on Annabel Lee. Edgar Allan Poe wrote this poem in 1849, which was actually the last poem he completed before his death that same year. The poem is often thought to reflect Poe's own deep grief and loss, especially related to his wife, Virginia Clegg, who died young. Annabel Lee explores themes of eternal love and mourning, capturing Poe's feelings about love that transcends death. It settings the mysterious kingdom by the sea, adds a fairy tale, timeless quality to the poem, making it one of Poe's most enduring and beloved works. Okay guys, let's go we analyze about the Annabel Lee poem using 5 elements of poetry. Number 1 is form. The poem consists of 6 stanzas with varying line lengths. Poe uses a simple yet effective rhyme scheme, mostly like ABAB, which gives the poem a sing-song lullaby like a rhythm. The repeated phrase, "Kingdom by the Sea," creates a steady beat and a magical fairy tale atmosphere. Number 2 is sound device. Poe masterfully uses sounds to build mood. The name Annabel Lee is repeated throughout, almost like a chant that deepens the feeling of love and longing. Alliteration appears in phrases like "Kingdom by the Sea," which makes the lines flow smoothly. You can also hear assonance and consonance with the repeated E sounds in C and Lee, giving the poem a sweet and melancholic tone. Number 3 is imagery, including simile, metaphor, and personification. One of the poem's strengths is its vivid and figurative imagery. The metaphor "Kingdom by the Sea" is more than just a place. It symbolizes a romantic, ideal world. Personification is seen in a wild blowout of a romantic cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. The wind acts like a living force that is cold and deadly. The moon and stars are also personified. For example, the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. As if the moon sends dreams, And I feel the bright eyes of Annabel Lee makes me stars seem like they have eyes, adding a magical and sorrowful feeling. Number 4 are mood and tone. The mood is clearly melancholic and romantic. We feel the deep sadness of loss, but also a powerful, undying love. The narrator's tone is filled with longing and devotion, as if he still lives in a world where his love with Annabel Lee never ends. Number 5, or the last elements of poetry, is themes. There are several main themes in this poem. Number 1 is eternal love. The love between the narrator and Annabel Lee is so strong that even angels and supernatural forces cannot spare it though. Number 2 is death and loss. Despite Annabel Lee's death, the narrator maintains a spiritual bond with her. And the last, or number 3, is supernatural power. The poem mentions jealous angels and the deadly wine, adding a mystical element that emphasizes the tragic and immense nature of their love. So guys, Annabel Lee is a perfect example of how Edgar Allan Poe combines poetic form, sounds, vivid imagery, and deep themes to create a world full of emotion and timelessness. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like and subscribe for more poetry breakdowns. And see you next time, guys.